Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda Dittlinger and I am a neurodivergent woman. So I have several different neurodivergencies. I have aphantasia, which is the inability to visualize in my mind's eye. I have a rare memory disorder called SDAM, and as of today, I am an officially card-carrying member of the Autistic and ADHD communities. I think it's pretty hilarious that I actually got a card today. But I love it. I love it. So I got diagnosed ASD1 from the DSM-5 manual. Before that probably would have been called Asperger's or high functioning autism. But now they're categorizing it as levels 1, 2, and 3. And so level 1 just means that I'm autistic, but don't require as much support as somebody who would be in level 2 or level 3, which, oh, there's my kitty cat magic, which totally tracks with the things that I've been reading about autism. And I am also ADHD, which totally makes sense now that I learned that hyperactive does not mean that you're bouncing off the walls. Hyperactive can present that way, but it also can mean that your brain is just constantly going. And my brain does. It never turns off. I'm always just like, just thinking. So, and then there's a lot of other ADHD traits that I'm still kind of learning about. When I started this diagnostic journey, it was more about autism, and then there is a very high overlap in the autistic ADHD world. So then I started kind of being exposed to more about what ADHD was, and I'm like, oh, I relate to those symptoms as well. So if you're new to my channel, hey, welcome. I hope you subscribe because I've got lots of fun videos on all these different neurodivergencies. And even if you don't have them, sometimes it is really fun to learn about somebody who thinks differently than you. But I learned that I was autistic by actually diagnosing my teens. I have twin teenage kids, and they were having a lot of severe anxiety, like severe anxiety. So we were trying to get to the bottom of their anxiety, and they got a generalized anxiety disorder, and we were trying to figure out the right medications. And by talking to different doctors, somebody suggested they might be on the autistic spectrum. And the more I researched that, I was like, oh, that actually does match up with a lot of the characteristics that they have. And so we did an assessment for them. And while I was getting them assessed, I learned that women especially are very undiagnosed in the autistic community. And I realized that I had so many of the autistic traits that I did not know about. So I continued to self-diagnose and learn all about it. I joined different online communities and forums, still learning more about what is and isn't autism and ADHD. And then because I have the, it's not cheap. It's not cheap, but it was within my means to get formally diagnosed. And that was important to me because of a couple of reasons. One is I would like my stats to kind of be cataloged with other women, and so that more people who are autistic can find their place in the community. And secondly, it just kind of gives me that reassurance of all of the research that I did on my own kind of is validated and backed up by a psychologist. But and I've mentioned this in previous videos, self-diagnosing in the autistic community is quite validating and valid. And I want to say, if you think you might be autistic and you feel like you have a lot of the traits, this video is here to also show you that going through with the formal diagnosis is probably just going to give you that check mark that, yep, you are. Because if you are already at the point where you're relating to enough of the traits, then you probably are autistic, and you probably don't even need the official diagnosis unless you need it for some reason for accommodations, like if you're still a student. But there are medications for ADHD, but there are no medications for autism. There are medications for anxiety. So a lot of people with autism also will get a anxiety disorder diagnosis also. I do get anxious, but it's not enough, and I wasn't even thinking that it was either, but he confirmed that it's not enough to, diagnose me with an anxiety disorder. A lot of times, because of my autism, I want a lot of information. I want more information on a subject than I think a neurotypical person needs. So a lot of times when I'm trying to do something and I don't get all the information that I want, then that will make me anxious. But it's not an anxious disorder, you know what I mean? So I'm smiling so big because this is not a bad thing. Like, I love that I have found my people. I found community. I have been that person who has struggled my entire life to fit in, and I'm really good at making friends. Sometimes I have difficult time keeping friends. Oftentimes I have difficult time keeping friends. So just knowing that a lot of the times in my life when I was trying to fit in, those were all masking. And now it's an opportunity for me to kind of learn, what does Amanda like? Feels good to my body? Like, I have really had very many subtle stems, which I talk about in this video up here, but now it's like, hey, I'm embracing the stems. Like, I realize they really help me think. They help my brain concentrate if I am stimming. Like right now, even with this card, I'm twirling it in my hands. So, which could be a form of, stimming. Sometimes they can be really subtle. And oftentimes autistic people have very big stems, and both are okay and both are great in certain situations. On the way to my assessment, my anxiety level got really, really, really high. I was really nervous of the outcome, and I had a noisy stem. My magnets were in a little plastic case, and I was shaking them and rattling them so loud, and that just felt really good in that moment. It's like a way to get all the energy out of my body. So, and the reason why I was nervous is because I, at this point, had self-diagnosed autism. I felt very, very confident that I was going to get an autistic diagnosis. And then I had this just like inkling worry that he was going to look at me and go, no, sorry, not you. But I shouldn't have worried, and you shouldn't either. If you are on your self-diagnosis journey to an autistic diagnosis, did I say that right? If you are on a journey to get to self-diagnose yourself with autism, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Just feel confident in your discoveries, because my guess, if you really relate to a lot of the traits of autism, then you really are. And it's okay. It's beautiful. Neurodivergent brains are beautiful brains. We have a lot to offer to the world, and we are going to make some amazing changes. The more people who realize they're neurodivergent stop masking and embrace their identities. Neurodivergent people are the game changers, man. They're like Albert Einstein. I think they say Elon Musk, which, even I'm trying to think who is some of the other ones that have now been kind of like said, hey, probably autistic. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful and that you subscribe if you haven't already. Drop down in the comments some support, some love. Where are you on your journey? Do you have a family member or a friend that you think might be autistic and you're trying to help learn and understand them? I love, 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 love talking to all of y'all in the comments. And until the next video, bye.